What is up, gang? You know what it is. Another Friday, another live stream, another motor installed in a car. Armando, if you're here, that's your baby. She's in there. So let's do a little walk around, little talk around, little hawk around. What comes after hawk? Oh my God. What's the word? Old armpit Dan? Airing them pits out. We both low-key ripping.
Yeah, I need a new shirt.
Here, can we make them touch? Ah. How you doing, buddy?
Good.
Yep.
Let's back together. Have the motor back in.
Cam, headers, all that jazz, all the good stuff. Ported heads too, for all the airflow. This baby's gonna be boosted in the future, so excuse me. We're putting the groundwork in place for it to be a reliable, fun, solid setup. I don't know if anyone's here. It says stars are disabled. Things are getting real weird on the old Facebook front. Goodness gracious, we got one person in this chat. Let me see where we're at. Give me 1 sec. Let me let a few jabronis get in this jaunt. Okay. How y'all doing today? It's a little chilly out-ish.
What up?
We got no one here.
No one here?
No one's here. I'm sending it to him right now.
Okay. Well, you can walk around and show the other stuff, and
Yep.
once you get up to double digits, at least at a minimum.
Yeah, I gotta shave. I'm thinking about doing a mullet. I'm thinking about that. What do y'all think about the mullet? Should we go for it? Cause like I low-key got a mop, and we gotta take care of that. Drop your comments below. Should I mullet it? I might need like a 3rd gen and some T-tops if I do, but might be kind of the move. So I'm over here by the shop manager. It's everyone's favorite time of the week. What's the old head wisdom of the week, Unc?
Hey, stay a Toys R Us kid forever.
What?
Stay a Toys R Us kid forever. Toys R Us.
Oh. Well, Toys R Us is in the dump because everyone don't want no Pokemon cards no more. They wanted Fortnite V-Bucks, and Toys R Us couldn't survive. They didn't adjust. They didn't adjust what they were doing to it. Man, I love Toys R Us. My aunt and uncle used to take me out to dinner and give me a bag of nickels or quarters, $10 worth, and I would get stupid stuff. And that's how I learned about taxes, because I said, I got $1 left, that car's 97 cents. And he said, no, it ain't. Government don't, I got mad. I got radicalized at an early age. So, we got the old horn dangle on the dyno. Look at this sucker. So, we did have to extend it a little bit for the extensioning purposes. But it's all okay now, because this baby is beautiful, and at some point in time when we reach double digits, we're at 7, you guys are lacking today. Look at this thing. Wade, where are you? Wade, where are you? These little race tech seats, little shoot handle. Oh, okay, the people want better mic.
We're gonna have to do sound.
I need a low taper fade, I'm being told. Let a homie hop at the low taper fade. I'm not keeping the mic there. Hold on, gang. You get to get up close and personal with me. This is why you guys come. What? It sounds like it is. I have it in my ear hole and it sounds on. We're about to find out. Give me 1 sec. I'm about to hear it. We're testing sound. Yeah, it's the 30-second.
How are we looking? How many we got?
It definitely. I can't hear you at all.
Can't hear me at all?
No.
Well,
not on that mic.
Stinks.
Dude, it's like 60 some odd degrees, but it's so muggy. It feels horrible.
Yeah. Let's see if that helps at all.
Yeah, no, I can't hear you worth a gosh darn.
All right. Well,
we're just gonna do.
Well, no, because it's.
It'll sound
Can you
better.
hear yourself?
Yeah, but I don't know if that's just the proximity.
I don't think yours is. Yeah, yours is.
It was blue.
Who knows?
Guys, these Timu mics ain't cutting it. I think we might have to up ourselves to the Wish mics.
Maybe.
So
That's one too.
we'll find out. You can put it on, but what? We got 15 people. Holy crap. What is up, gang? Everyone is here. Bob's here. Dory's here. Bill's here. Renee's here. Jeff's here. All Motor Rex is here. Our resident. Oh my God! Where should I go? Front, back, up here. All right. We're going to get a little bit of whistle out of this jaunt. There he goes. Come on, give it. Oh, he did it. This is them turbos, baby. Woo! The whistle. I'm gonna clean the camera. I think it's dirty. Whoops, sorry. That's better. Sorry, gang. I'm slow today. Golly. She's a runner, she's a track star. So sexy, man. Need the computer, or is it up there? Okay. Oh my God, oh my God. Oh my God. Jeremy, did this just make 1273 stock motor?
1273 stock motor and train.
12, wait, stock trans?
Stock everything.
Hey, Wade, talk to me about a trans build. Stock motor, stock trans, hubba, and then that's the boosties. Is this pre or post intercooler?
That's pre-intercooler.
Pre-intercooler, so it's dropping a little bit.
Yeah, post-intercooler, it peaks at like 25 and a half, tapers down to just under 25 on that one. So, give an example, 1229, for those that don't know, the owner of this car, his dad's car was on the dyno, a little over a month ago? So, what? Let me turn these off, because I'm literally yelling.
Okay. They just...
Literally yelling.
I know.
So, all right, sorry about that. Mics aren't working. So, for those that don't know, the owner of this car, his dad's car was on the dyno just over a month ago. He made just about this boost level here, and he made 1270 to the wheels on a stock motor and trans. So, the owner of this one wanted to beat his dad, so I had to throw a little more boost at it. So.
There's a extra Predator 212 worth of horsepower in this puppy. Dude, 1270.
1270. I know. Really,
Wait, that's wheel. So what would you think that would be crank?
Look at the shop temp.
Yeah, 91 degrees in this son of a gun.
Yeah, so that's...
It's miserable, folks.
miserable. Humid, it's just not... That's why I made less boost than the other car. So
Yeah.
the reality is he started making almost identical. So this is the first one we've done with the Hellion kit on it. So Hellion's going to be offering our intake manifolds on their website. We're going to work with them. As you see, we had to modify their pipe a little bit. So they're going to offer it as an option with the modified pipe. It's very easy. It's just a couple inches added in a straight section. So very easy to adapt for it. But we did this with our engine bay twin turbo kit. And also now the Hellion with the same turbos. And it made basically the same exact power. So
What do you think that this thing's making at the cranky crank?
Oh, I mean, it's usually 1400.
14. So it's just double stock. It's just double stock, and it hasn't puked out yet. Yet.
Not yet.
Good God. This thing's stupid. I ain't gonna lie. I also don't know if anyone's commenting because it just ain't updating. So if y'all are, I ain't seeing it. My bad. But this thing's ridiculous. Yeah, that will help. What's the word, Unc?
Football.
Hey, who wants to come out for football? Summer season starting soon. We need bodies. Look at this. Goodness. I'm touching it. It's not even warm. All right. Anything else out here, J-Dog? I think I've covered just about everything. Turbo kit. We got some stock manifolds for it because it came in with long tubes and we need them stock manis. Another turbo kit. This one, lot of everyone doing turbo kits. What's in there? I don't know. I'm just wondering the same thing. Because what if there was something in there and I didn't look and then we found it? See? Gotta always be on it, bro. Always on it. This Jeep, done with tuning. It's been here a hot second. So, giving a little washes a little. We love you. You know what I mean? We love our boys. So, we reward patience. But, little first gen WK1 action, Pro Charge setup. She's a juicy one. I'm always so 50-50 split on WK1s because it totally fits with like the style of Dodge I like, where they're old, dilapidated, falling apart. But the WK1s, like 90% of them on the road are so falling apart.
Sad but true. Sad but true.
Eat my brush.
Yes, he ate your brush.
That's what it was, the brush.
Yep.
I think he ate part of it.
Daddy brush. What?
Move the computer too.
Oh my gosh. CJ had one job. CJ had one job.
You one fan, man.
He didn't make a bang doing it. He's like,
You know, that's true. I did say,
You can't even do it.
I did say listen for a
Eyes
bang.
on the dog.
he's a superstar.
Never take them off.
He's an international superstar.
All right, so those coming in late. Sorry if you missed the dyno pull, but you can go back and watch it after this is over.
Look
It's
how
post on our page.
Moist
It's muggy,
my
right?
face looks,
That's
dude.
what I'm saying.
It's literally 90 in the shop.
Yeah, so
It's horrible.
it's not a favorable day for don't. What are you doing?
Dan and I touched our holes in our shirts together.
That's so weird. I'm sorry for the weirdness, guys. But yeah, so another bone stock motor, bone stock trans, bone stock rear end. Hellcat making over 1,270 wheel horsepower. So.
Question for people watching it, because I'm sure someone's going to ask it unless we very clearly say it. Can I take that car to the track making that power and do back-to-back-to-back hits and expect it to live forever?
I mean, if you want to jump into questions right away. So this is how it works. I've had several cars run 8s with that type of power for years, okay? And it is luck of the draw, and fortunately on these builds and these great customers, they understand that. So they know that boost setting number 4, which is what that is, it is, rod to God,
Have fun with it.
Whatever you want to call it. We essentially doubled the horsepower and torque from stock. So nothing inside the engine, transmission, anything is designed for that. So am I confident saying that you can continue to abuse it? No, absolutely not. It will fail at some point. It just prematurely causes the failure that normally would have happened in stock form. So there is no math equation or actual way to determine that. So it is luck of the draw. It is a gamble, right? And they know that. So now, something that we've talked about, so we'll reiterate on it again when we shared the purple car, the Charger that did the exact same thing, 1270 wheel on a bone stock motor and trans. How, right? Well, you need to understand is both of these cars had our level 3 package before, which was a ported blower, 2.4s, with a 274 upper, 10% lower, and a 108 millimeter throttle body. So that combination can net 22, 23 pounds of boost on a nice cool day. So we were just trying to duplicate that boost level with turbos to show the difference. So both of those cars made like 960, 970 to the wheel prior to turbo introduction. So the dyno that we showed, and we'll post a specific video for this one, but that car made 978 to the wheels with just about 23 pounds of boost. So at, if you want to look at the one that said 24.4 pounds of boost, where it made 1229 to the wheels, that is pre-intercooler. Post-intercooler was actually lower than that. It was actually about 20 and a half, maybe 21 pounds peaking with a little taper up top. So with less boost, the car made 150 horsepower more. And this is what we talk about in regards to, removing a supercharger from the equation. Compound boost is great. Compound boost is fun. It's easier to change boost levels and is more flexible than, blower only. But, and it's not more so that the blower's a restriction. We hear that thrown around a lot. There is a point where it becomes a restriction, but more so it's a parasitic drain. Those rotors spinning, pulleys, and everything like that, it takes a lot of horsepower. Roughly, in situations like this, 120, 150 horsepower easily, okay? So not only do you get the benefit of the flexibility, not only do you get the ability to change your boost levels at will from the driver's seat, but you're making the same amount of cylinder pressure or very close. So that's the explosion happening inside the engine. It's just you get more of it to the tire instead of losing it somewhere else. So, this car on boost setting 3, for example, we're going to have it set up around 20 pounds of boost, which is going to net, I think it was like 1150, 1200 wheel, depending on the temperature. So, that car before, with 3 more pounds of boost, was only making 970. So we're not technically stressing the engine as much as we are with a blower, because we don't have to spin it. Now, that horsepower that is being seen is more horsepower than what the transmission, rear end, axles, and everything else sees normally. So, yes, it is making and producing more horsepower to the tire, but the engine itself is not technically seeing more abuse than it was before. If anything, the engine out of the whole drivetrain comparison situation is seeing the least amount of stress, but now the transmission and so on and so forth, the rest of the components are seeing more because it's just more horsepower passing through the flywheel into the transmission and drivetrain. So that's the beauty of it. I mean, the truth is, if they want to make 970 wheel, they can, pump this thing at 15, 16 pounds of boost, right? And then they'll make the same power they were making before. So that's the beauty of a turbo setup. So the goals with this car is hopefully to see a nice 8-second run or two. I know for a fact that if they do the moon tune like that, it's going to be a mid 8-second car. This car weighs a lot less than our shop car, our Charger. And we ran 850 in the quarter and 550 in the eighth at 165 with roughly 1250 wheel.
Wait,
so,
give me the go ahead for the Sawzall. I won't charge you.
His already weighs 500 pounds less.
I know,
but he's already got it to where it needs to be.
What if we pulled out another 500 pounds?
Well, yeah, I mean,
give me the go ahead for the Sawzall.
Yeah.
I won't charge you.
Yeah.
I just take the scrap metal.
Yeah, so so there it is again, another basic combination from there. I mean, it's literally like for to make the powers 4 modifications really. It's the turbo kit, intake manifold, and then the 2 items for the fuel system. And literally we are making 1270 to the wheels on a stock Hellcat. So obviously this one has supporting drivetrain and suspension components to get ready for what's to come. The poor thing is going to see a lot of abuse. So another one that we're happy. And as Tulo mentioned, we have a couple others on the lift getting Hellion kits with the manifolds as well. So we're going to continue the data collection. We're going to see different platforms, different motors, different setups. The really exciting thing is the next 2 motors that are getting the Hellion and manifold combination are built. So they're forged and ready to party. So
On that topic, we're gonna go right into what Jeff said. Now that they have a built motor, can you just beat the dog out of it and expect it never to break?
So,
Do built things break?
Yeah. So not a could you, should you, but more along the lines of when you build it, does it break? And the answer is yes. It's a subject. Go ahead. Oh, squirrel. Are you ready?
Not you, just go. Sorry.
Okay. So it's a subject we've actually talked about a few times. It doesn't matter the amount of money you spend. There's always a potential for failure or something to go wrong. And we reference professional race cars. Whether it's drag race, NASCAR, road course, they fail. They break, right? And the truth is they're spending probably 5 times as much as most of our customers are on just an engine alone, maybe, right? So it doesn't mean just because you spent top dollar that it's going to be reliable. Now, what generally you pay more for is something that's strengthened, but anything strong can fail. There's nothing that's invincible. So it really doesn't matter how much money you spend. It's still a possibility that you're going to have some sort of failure, whether it's warranty based whether it's just abuse and it just wore out, or whether it was defective.
That's why you just got to be a stock motor king.
Yeah, so, and even if we go back, I mean, we can list, we've talked about it. We had 3 cars in a row that we put OEM, non-MDS Hellcat lifters into them from Dodge themselves, and they were bad out of the box. So that's an example, right? We have a car that, and again, this isn't me coming down on anybody or a company, it just happens, a car that just was picked up that had a failed torque converter out of the box. How did it fail? It locked up immediately. As soon as you put it into drive, it locked down, driving the engine down to almost 400 RPM. I was able to get it to 500, but on a stroked motor with a decent cam, a blower, this, that, and the other, dragging a motor down to 500 RPM due to the fact the converter is fully locked up and engaged, you know what I mean? We and as a shop, we can't control that. We don't, even the guys that make it sometimes have issues, right? From OEM lifters to a torque converter, right? We've had oil pumps failed out of the box. We've had, obviously lifters. We've had push rods actually wrong lengths. I mean, these things are mass produced, guys, and it doesn't matter what you spend on it. You're going to run into these things happening. Now, I will tell you, it's one of those, it sucks for you as a customer, and it sucks for us as a shop, and it sucks for the person that supplied the parts. Nobody does this stuff on purpose, and at the end of the day, it's one of those that, it's rough all the way around. Right now I have one car we were able to get in, they were the first one, and then the other 2 with the failed lifters out of the box. Busy schedule, which is great. Thank you, everybody, for that. But now I have to try and fit these 2 guys into a schedule. We're booked out 6 weeks. Not that it's not a priority thing. It's just we're limited. Yeah. You know what I mean?
We base our schedule around the projected labor. So, like a motor, it's 20-hour engine R&R, 10-hour long block assembly. So that's what's quoted. Okay, we figure that in. Now that car needs to come back for the exact same thing. Right. That wasn't scheduled, wasn't planned. So now we have to move everything around for that 30 hours. And that's just engine, not bleeding coolant, XYZ. Yeah. So it really throws things off.
Yeah. So, it's that expectation and have that patience with us when things like this happen. You know what I mean? So to give you guys a scenario of, what's going on right now, I'm down to 2 technicians. I have a technician dealing with some health issues, so he's actually assisting on billet side because he's actually by the doctor told he shouldn't be doing anything in regards to wrenching wise. So, schedule is built off of 3 techs, and now I'm down to 2. Well, in the month of May, I not only had a couple techs go on vacation, which they deserved, they planned out, but I also had, 1 technician miss a full week of work, right? So it's one of those of the balancing. Like if I had 20 technicians with 50 lifts and able to bounce around, it'd be outstanding. We're small time guys. And
at the same time, when you're that big, it's hard to maintain that quality because everything needs to be looked at. And it's a double-edged sword.
We're in a boat now, too. We have 3 job ads open, and, we haven't filled them yet. It's one of those.
We're hiring. You could work with me. You could work out in the shop away from me, but I'll still come out.
Yeah.
And then the third thing is also still kind of with me.
Kind of in the same vicinity, what I mean? But
we're
so
hiring.
It's one of those where we're trying, guys, in regards to small business, small shop, to try to continue the growth, to be able to support from all fronts. We don't like when we have a deadline, we're trying to get a car done, and then we run into roadblocks, and now it has to change, right? What happened?
Jeff just commented when you talk about the converter that he wished he could lock up.
Yeah, that's another one as an example.
Right.
People talking about converters. We had Jeff at the track day with us. His converter just physically wouldn't lock up at all. I mean, he launched in the car, I drove it. It just sat at the rev limiter sitting there waiting for this converter to lock up. Now, I know a lot of you guys, because I'm a tuner, are going to go, oh, it's in the tune. No, it's not. I tried everything. I mean, I set RPM lock up to 0, meaning that should have locked up at idle, and nothing changed. So there are these moments where the mechanical side of things on these technical, very technology-based setups get held back by mechanical issues, right? So, we can go on and on and on, but combine seeing defects and things like that with just being human, right? People get sick. People have kids that got to take to doctors. Where family before anything. These guys are staying late. How late were you here last night?
9 or
8, 9, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we try. We do what we can, but we're still human, So, the general summary here, though, guys, is yes, you have to, hope for the best, but plan for the worst is like what we like to say. Modifying cars is not for everybody. and
No.
it doesn't always go as planned. So
No.
we try to be as, I mean, we are as transparent as possible. We try to judge and guess as best as we can, but there
Yeah.
are a lot of variables that are out of our control as the front end, and we get the blunt end of it,
Yeah.
right? We're the middleman for everything. So, like I said, we appreciate patience, and we're here to talk and explain what's going on and what we're facing. But the one thing we can't do is generate something out of nothing and force somebody to do the same.
Yeah.
So, modding cars is tough.
It sucks.
Yeah, it sucks.
It sucks. I have to look at my car not working every day. But it's getting better, hopefully, maybe, possibly. We'll see. Who the fuck knows
Right.
at this point. I guess could you, should use.
Yeah.
Or
yeah,
actually, before we get into that, let's continue with the weird questions. Because you've been going through it, hella, what causes a misfire? When we're tuning, when we're looking at cars, whatever. What causes a misfire, and how can it affect stuff? Is it okay for me just to dog on my car with a misfire because
Yeah.
I don't want to fix the root cause, and I just want to beat the dog out of my car and then be upset when it blows up?
Right. So, so,
Poor
you know,
Jeremy. He's
one of
thinking
those-
about everyone that's hitting him up, saying,
Yeah.
it's not that big of a deal. Give me
so
more timing.
what is a misfire? Let's start with that. So, essentially what a misfire is incomplete combustion of the air-fuel mixture inside your engine. That's the easiest way to break it down, right? So, the objective is to force in as much air as we can inside a nice little cylinder. Then we, fill it with fuel to compensate for it. And then we want to ignite it with our ignition system, okay? We squeeze it, make it more volatile, we spark it, it blows up, and then it forces the piston downward, and that's where horsepower and torque come from. So naturally, you want a bigger, larger explosion. The bigger we make the explosion, the more torque you make, right? That's why it's called cylinder pressure. We are trying to just achieve the highest cylinder pressure that we can, okay? Now, what causes misfires? What causes your air-fuel mixture to not fully combust? There is a ton of things that can affect this, okay? Now, normally it is... what's that?
I have a solution for you, Cameron.
I just got to get him the money for it.
We're just going to make something happen.
So basically what it comes down to is,
I'll treat
you
my
need
300.
good air, you need good fuel, you need squeeze, a lot of squeezing, and then you need a good spark, okay? So incorrect fueling, yes, right? So we'll talk about a part throttle idle misfire. What we need to think about here is we need good air. Air is just going to happen by the engine. We need fuel, which is going to be controlled by an O2 sensor in most conditions.
That's Rick, because he...
Yeah. Yeah.
Send us a data log.
So, as I was saying, at idle, right? Air is being sucked in just by the pistons going downward. Fuel is going to be adjusted based on your O2 sensor. And then the spark happens based on basic settings of idle control. Okay, so if you're having a misfire, we have to look at, could it be the tune is so far off that it causes a misfire? Yes. If it's so rich that the O2 sensors can't correct for it accordingly, it could be tune related. Okay. Now, could it be timing based on the tune setting? Sure. If you have somebody that doesn't really know what they're doing and it's idling at minus 20 degrees of timing because they have the throttle so far open, right? Or vice versa, it's all of the timing because the throttle's so closed. But we're saying you have a healthy engine or a healthy tune where everything is aligned where it should be. The O2 is supposed to be adjusting the fueling, and then the timing will just adjust to try and keep it alive. And then that's one of those things where a tuner can't necessarily correct a misfire at idle if the fuel trims and everything are reporting correctly. Okay? So this is where, is it the tuner's fault if you have like a idle misfire or part throttle misfire? And the general answer is no. Most of the time it's not. And it comes down to tuners like us, and when it comes to tuning, we are relying on sensor feedback to make sure that the readings are accurate. So understand that the fueling mixture is going to be based off your O2 sensor and what it's feeding back and saying it needs. So if you have a false O2 sensor reading, meaning there's a lean condition from a vacuum leak or an exhaust leak, right? Or an O2 sensor going bad, that will cause it to add a fuel that's not needed, which could lead to a misfire, right? Too much fuel with the spark and not enough timing would be a misfire because more fuel needs more time to burn. Just natural, right? You have a little bit of fuel, goes boop, and it burns quickly. You have a lot of fuel, it takes longer for that to burn. This is why we have to advance timing in those given situations to try and optimize that burn to maximize cylinder pressure. So if you have a lot of fuel in your combustion chamber and the spark's going off and timing is very low or retarded, guess what? You're going to have misfires, okay? So that can be fixed in the tune if the O2 sensor reading is not accurate, okay? Now, driving down the road, part throttle, cruising on the highway, okay? Fuel trims are money. We'll say you're less than 3% being reported by the O2 sensors, but you're getting a ton of misfires. How is it going to be tuning related? Well, yes, we could adjust timing. So let's say we go through that and add some timing, retard some timing, optimize it, and it doesn't change. It's not tune related. So these are the ways that we can try to help troubleshoot that, right? So what would that be? What would that be?
He's talking about me.
What could it be then in that scenario if it's not the tuner's fault, right? Well, like we said, air fuel mixture. Is the O2 sensor reading accurate? We'll say yes. What else could it be? Weak spark. Incorrect spark plug temperature, incorrect gap, fouled out plugs. It's going to be ignition based at that time. Again, not controllable necessarily by a tune. So the reality is, majority of the time, misfires are caused by a mechanical issue that a tuner cannot correct, right? I'm talking, you have a competent tuner that has things pretty close to where they need to be, okay? So you really, the expectation shouldn't be on the tuner to fix it, okay? So it's one of those things that, you want to really, have the proper expectation. I'm not kidding. I think I have 10, right now I'm dealing with 10 remote tunes where we have misfire issues. Again, there's nothing I can do in regards to that. Well, wide open throttle, AFR, at least the reading I'm getting is on the money. Timing's where it should be, right? Even cruising, everything seems okay. So, it's one of those. Another great telltale sign is, I'm getting misfires on one bank. Cylinder 2, 4, 6, and 8. Misfiring like crazy.
Oh?
Driver's side is okay. Well, that kind of tells you that's not a tune-related issue if one side is very happy and the other side's not. Exhaust, restriction, right? Melted cats. Seen that many a times. So it's one of those things that normally a misfire is going to be mechanical related. So I see that. Oh my gosh. Got some timing pulled out. He's retarded.
Well,
we should rate our customers and employees by how much timing they have.
-20.
We'll set a limit, an MBT and then a minimum spark and see what everybody rates each other. So that'd be funny. Anyway, so yeah, misfires, guys, they're more common than you think. Now, here's something too. Is there such a thing as a false misfire? Absolutely. Okay, so when does this happen? Well, generally it's more. You playing footsie, bro?
Yeah.
Generally, it's more common once you start to really modify. So cams, stroking a motor,
Yes.
changing compression. Okay.
Heavy on the cams.
Heavy on the cams. I've also seen just fuel system changes. I've seen electrical issues cause false misfires,
Yeah.
right? It is a common known thing that cylinder 8 will throw random false misfires on the Gen 3 Hemi platform as soon
Hi,
as you start
Brandon.
to modify it. So
How you doing,
it
buddy?
is, man, he's just bouncing in and out.
Yeah,
He
he
needs better
is.
service
I
up
mean,
there.
shit, I had a misfire caused by our coil pack that would go out once it got hot. When it literally, engine coolant temps between 150 to 170, I'd have a misfire. As soon as it got over that, it would go away. So something wasn't happy.
Right. Yeah, so I mean, there is such a thing as false misfire.
Yeah.
So do we have to turn the misfire counter off? I've had vehicles.
No.
I've had vehicles, yes, where we turn misfire counters off. It is a long conversation I have with customers to kind of talk about that because
It's not something we take it lightly. It's there for safety.
Right. It's all we have in regards to.
Oh
man, minus 30 timing.
Damn.
Yeah. So it's one of those where we have to have the talk, right? And I want to leave all safeties in place as much as possible, leave them all as sensitive as possible as well. But there are instances, you get a nice, 440 cubic inch high compression NA setup with all the timing and nitrous on top. It's going to throw false misfires, guys. So the steps we take are to do our diligence, check compression, check the spark plugs, read those, see how they're looking, make sure everything is solid. Now, the other thing is ignition is usually one of the really common pieces that will cause this. These vehicles aren't new anymore. I mean, shoot, we're going on year 2 where they haven't really made a Hemi, right? So we are forgetting that I've been seeing stuff where there's corrosion inside of coil packs on the connection points of where it touches the spark plugs, right? I've seen corrosion inside wires. I've seen corrosion at pins. I've seen pins move and vibrate out. So now that these are tried and true and abused, we're going to start seeing some even weirder things. So it's one of those. It's going to be really frustrating, and this is what a lot of other people see in other platforms. So it's going to start happening now since these things are... Bro, sit down. So, you know, it's something. Misfires are real, and they also are false. But it is 9 times out of 10 going to be a mechanical issue that you on your end while tuning is going to have to jump into. So, yeah, that's misfires, guys.
It happens. Tons of stuff. Tons of weird things. So much. I mean, an employee's car here, not going to name names, but they had a broken coil pack connector that would sometimes just go out and then go back in.
Yep.
And it was really hard to track until you just brushed by and it popped out and it's, that's it.
Yeah, some weird.
Yeah.
We see the new thing we're seeing too. Again, talking about like receiving quality parts. Oh, it's Remy.
It's the orange one.
It's the orange one,
Yeah.
red one. Another thing, people to be aware of and check if you have misfires. Check the resistance of your spark plugs. So we're seeing more and more of inconsistent resistance in the spark plugs, brand new out of the box. Also, we've been seeing a few more that might have been dropped over time, in which there's some crack in the porcelain and stuff like that. So it's the littlest things sometimes that create the biggest headaches, guys. Just understand that. Don't rely on your tuner to fix your misfire. We can give you, advice of what we've seen through our customers and over time, but we're not going to be able to fix it via a computer 9 times out of 10. So like I said, in the beginning stages, it's a brand new setup and you're rich. And yeah, of course. But like I said, if things are ironing out and looking, like you're heading in the right direction tune-wise, it's a mechanical thing. The other thing a lot of people get confused on, a telltale sign of a misfire is a lean condition. Now, why is that confusing to some? Because I said it's incomplete combustion, right? That means that there's going to be raw fuel dumping in. So why don't my O2 sensors pick that up? Well, O2 sensors aren't designed to pick up gases. So if you have raw gas it's literally what it is. It's going to be a cloud of gas going into your tailpipe. It doesn't pick up raw gases. It picks up oxygen.
It needs the fun stuffs in the airs.
Right. So it can't read the fact that there's extra fuel because it's unburnt fuel.
Wait,
so,
are you saying that you shouldn't trust
I should say fluids, not gases, because it picks up gases. It's actually not a gas. It's gas in fluid form.
Gasoline
in fluid form. Right. That's a confusing one. They should change the name of gas.
Yeah, it is.
It's not a gas most of the time. Anyways,
Jeff, thanks for saying it for me.
lean conditions is one of the most common telltale signs from a misfire because it is unburnt fuel, which can't be measured by an O2 sensor. So a lot of people think, I have a misfire, should be rich. That's, rich can cause a misfire, but eventually what will happen on a dead miss is you're going to get a lean condition on that cylinder and or bank.
Man, just ignoring that dead miss and continuing to run with it for a while where unburnt fuel is sprayed into your cylinder, that couldn't possibly go bad, could it?
No, not at all, guys.
No, we haven't had to replace motors recently because of that. Oh wait, we did.
Yeah.
Bummer.
Shout out to my smoke machine.
There we go.
Smoke machines are great.
Yeah, so always smoke test everything. If you do your own work and you don't have a smoke machine, invest in it. I didn't have one before coming here, and I can't tell you how important it is now seeing them used as much as they are. Every car, every intake that comes off, every header that comes off gets tested, and the amount of headaches and wasted time it saves. I mean, think about it. You put your headers on, you get your car off, you talk to the tuner, schedule a date for tuning, drive it to the shop, all this, that, and the other, then you can't tune it because you have exhaust leaks, and a 10-minute procedure while you're still the car in the air could have saved you.
And a lot of people ask why we charge the hours we do for long tube headers. One, anybody that's done it for the first time.
Good God.
So you can ask anybody that's tried it. They complain because of how difficult they are, right? We get it down to a science where we can do it a little quicker because we have the specific 20 swivel sockets that you need. We have our turbo
19
spinning
extensions.
Arms, all the extensions.
Right.
So we've been through it, right? The other piece that I know we do that a lot of shops don't do is we smoke test every system and we do it in stages.
Yes.
So we smoke test when we first put the long tube headers on themselves, and then we smoke test after we put the mid pipes on as well. And the reason for that is a lot of people focus so much on a leak pre-O2 sensor. On a long tube header, the connection for the mid pipe to the manifold is a few inches behind the front O2 sensor. But guess what, guys? A lot of people don't know there's vacuum pulses inside the exhaust. So if you have a leak at that flange right there, it will throw your O2 sensors reading off.
It will literally, on the pulses, it will suck air in through the leak, and it will show it to the O2 sensor, and the O2 sensor is going to say, gee golly, we got tons of oxygen, dump fuel.
Yeah.
And then your car's going to run like doo-doo, and then you're going to be mad, and you're going to yell at your tuner, and you're going to cuss them out and say, my car runs like garbage, rah! And it's really because you spent $100 on headers and then failed to smoke test them properly.
And
Look internally.
Most common time that those type of exhaust leaks show themselves is on decel coming to a stop or at idle.
Yeah.
So if you ever have that situation where like, a lot of people go, it's running rich, so I need the tune adjusted for it. Guess what? That is usually lean, and it's dumping fuel that's a false reading, and it will cause havoc. Rolling idles.
Bro.
If you got those rolling idles where it jumps several hundred RPM, it's usually a sign of it being extra rich. Because you got to understand, if the combustion's not happening, that means it's not a very strong explosion, so it's going to go down, and then it's going to show lean, it's going to add fuel, and they go, wait, that's too much fuel, and then it starts just waving. So
if you have ever lived with a car with a rolling idle, it is the worst thing in the world. And especially like when you're, I don't know, like you're at like a friend's house, you're leaving at 11 p.m. at night, your car's already ridiculously loud because you're a Mopar owner and have about 3 brain cells. So it's just straight piped. And then it just goes, rah, 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 and then you put it in gear and it stalls. It's really embarrassing. Yeah, it's very embarrassing.
Most common sign of a rich condition is a rolling idle. So, and it's usually caused by a false lean condition. So.
On that topic,
Yes.
my exhaust smells like gas. My car's running rich, right? Right? I can smell it.
Yeah. So just like I said, the most common sign of an exhaust that smells rich is because it's actually lean, and usually a false lean condition.
Nice.
How can that be? Because we have O2 sensors in place, and as long as your vehicle is mechanically sound, should be hitting Stoish or a Lambda at 1.0, no matter what fuel's in the tank, and it shouldn't smell rich. And that's not, and that's the biggest, most confusing piece for somebody is, it smells like raw gas, it's running rich. Well, technically, yes, but the problem is your vehicle thinks it's running lean, so it's adding the fuel to get that smell. So one way to fix that, just throw E85 in it. It needs 30-35% more fuel. It compensates because you got an exhaust leak. So there you go.
Easy, lemon squeezy.
Just kidding. Don't do that. But it smells better. So in the rich conditions, it smells a lot better. Much more tolerable, less headaches.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
We legit have like oxygen tanks here because sometimes people drop off cars and they smoke tested the header and the mid pipe and all that, and it's great. And that's kind of where they just stopped. So there's just holes in the exhaust. And
that's the mid pipes,
bro,
right at the flanges.
Poor guy, like he'll walk back in and he just reeks like unburnt fuel, like coming off his clothes. And I'm like, oh.
Anybody that's ever been around a false lean condition car for in an enclosed area for any prolonged period of time, it takes days sometimes to get that stink out of you, man. I'm not kidding.
I like it though.
You're weird. I mean, I like that garage smell, right? But not like that.
No,
I like the smell like pure carbon dioxide. So. Yeah, that's why I like corn, because it's healthy for you, right? It's good. Not really. Don't sniff corn exhaust. I'm just saying it doesn't give the headaches and stuff anyways. But, yeah.
Does it damage brain cells and brain activity?
So much is being explained right now. Oh, dear.
Should you? Neon SRT4 or Honda Prelude 3rd Gen?
SRT4.
SRT4. Neon SRT4 or Caliber SRT4? Caliber.
Yeah. They got the 6-speed in it. It's a wagon.
But don't the motors explode? Aren't they like junk? Someone was saying that.
No.
Ray?
It's the people.
It's the people.
It's the people. It's not the cars.
Hi, Ray.
Yeah.
It's the
He said
people.
he wants one.
I know.
He's agreeing with us. So.
Any plans for a track rental in the fall months?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we're going to be.
At some point.
We normally skip July and August.
It's so hot. There's no point. It's just beating on the car for no damn reason. You're not going to set a time.
It's not fun.
You're going to get sunburned.
Yeah. Oh, sunburned.
I mean, no, it's. Yeah, my neck got cooked.
Still burned.
This is literally. I was paced.
Yep. Ginger life. So, but yeah, we're.
Tanner's stay away.
Yeah. So we will be.
I put my motor twice in my.
Yeah.
Speaking on that, I guess it's more of like
Nobody
Okay.
wants to know the months when because that's what I was saying, when
Oh,
you're going to rent
sorry.
it. Yeah, so end of September, maybe October, and then sometimes we try for November, depending on the weather. But we were hoping to have good DA in our last one last week, which it started out like right when they let the lanes go fire. It was okay, like 1,700 positive DA. Not the best, but not the worst, but it skyrocketed over 2,500 before we left. And it got up there quick, and it just was bad. It was it wasn't the best for DA. Obviously, the vet only went 11-1. So, yeah. But what you're going to say to them?
I did not know how many of our boys are really, or were really into SRT4s. Do we tune those? Because we've been asked that before.
Oh, man. So
Case by case. You have to drive it here, show it to us, and if we find one wired nut, we're burning the car.
So I personally owned an SRT4. I tuned it, just basic bolt-on stuff like that. I'll just be honest. I've tuned 3 caliber SRT4s, you know what I mean, over my years. So I think literally 4 or 5 total SRT4s is what I've tuned. So have I made big power out of them? No, they were bolt-on to 85 cars, stuff like that. Nothing crazy. So, you know, it's one of those. Tuning's tuning. Could I do it over time? It would just take me a lot longer to do it. So, you know, that's why, like, I tuned the Audi. That's why, you know, I tuned Subarus. I mean, tuning is tuning. It's learning the software and just slowly taking your time with the car. So we normally turn away SRT4s just because of how busy we are. It just doesn't fit in the timeline of what it is. So
They're kind of cool.
they're cool. I love them. I mean, I love. Nothing sounds like an SRT4, man. You know?
I kind of want to get an SRT6 Crossfire, even though it's just a Mercedes and they're kind of ugly.
Said
but
no one ever.
I like them. I like them. I might come here, my little friend.
Yeah. Okay.
Could you, should you compare hub dyno results to wheel dyno results? Man, I just had my car at this place and it made this on the wheel dyno and they leave that out. And I took it to this new place and now it makes this on the hub dyno and they leave that out. Is it the exact same when your car's on a 15-inch radial on a wheel dyno? Is it going to make the exact same power on a hub dyno? If you can't tell by how sarcastic I am.
Yeah, so like hub dynos are great for really big horsepower cars.
You don't got to worry about spinning.
Yeah, you don't got to worry about spinning.
Shop car could have used that.
Shop car could have used that. Probably the Trackhawk we're building probably going to have to borrow a hub dyno for it.
When Jeff's car comes back.
Yeah, here's the problem we see with the hub dynos is one. I've noticed they are much easier to manipulate the numbers in regards to the settings you have to put into place because of everything that's going on. You know what I mean? What people are forgetting is you're changing the rear gear end ratio technically, right? So like if you have a 28-inch tire versus a 30-inch tire, you change your overall gearing, right? It's the same as if you were to go to a longer gear, if you go to a taller tire. Well, you go from a 28-inch tall tire down to your hub. Okay, so there's actually a setting you have to put in the hub dyno to calibrate based on what your hub is to compensate for the fact it's a correction because you're changing your gearing. Okay,
that seems so easy to manipulate.
So I have physically had this happen on multiple occasions where a car will be dynoed here and then take it to another on our DynoJet chassis dyno on a tire, and then they take it to another a dyno, a hub dyno, and all of a sudden it made 200 horsepower more. I'm not kidding you. Why is that? It's not a plug-and-play setup where they jump on and you go. For example, on this one, if I have the RPM signal set up correctly, I literally get the RPM signal and I put it on the dyno and I go, right? There's no setting for rear gear. There's nothing built in. There is a way to do it, so be careful for those people out there. But if you're using an RPM signal pickup, I can do a pull in 4th gear, 5th gear, 6th gear, right? It does not know. The computer does not know. So it's all based on the calculation of speed to speed, RPM to RPM over a certain time frame, okay? You can't do that on a hub dyno because you are literally eliminating the tire, which is part of the calculation that goes into everything in place, right? And you think about the what that does in regards to any type of manipulation to numbers. So, and yes, you're eliminating the wheel and tire by themselves as parasitic loss just through the rubber, and then you also eliminate the weight as well. So there's a lot of things in favor of a dyno number on a hub dyno. I will tell you, super high.
I'll call you after.
You don't have to worry about wheel spin. You don't have to worry about, a tire wrinkling or a tire blowing out.
Yeah.
So you can break an axle. or drive shaft. But anyways, that's where you got to be a little leery. I will be honest. There's somebody posting in a CA Corvette group saying that they're making 760 wheel horsepower in the stock fuel system.
Yep.
So for our GM guys or anybody with a Gen 5 Hemi knows that's not possible.
Gen 5 Hemi.
Sorry, Gen 5 GM. It's not possible to do on a bone stock fuel system. It's just there's physical limitations that things in place. That number is roughly probably 120 horsepower or so over what the limitation of the fuel system is. So it just goes to show you have to be very careful. We say all dynos are different, right? And the ones that I know like Dynocom, which is also a hub dyno, they allow you to literally go in and change the actual correction factor and this, that, and the other. Same thing on a
So you can just
Mustang
blatantly
dyno.
lie.
You can go in, change the weight, the gearing, and all that stuff. When the CA Vet first came out, the first one they put on the dyno made like 500 wheel horsepower because they had the wrong settings in place and they had to correct that. So it just goes to show you that we get so stuck on the actual number that it comes out to, it's a tool, guys. And the truth is, if you really, really wanted to, every dyno has an ability to manipulate it. I can tell you on ours, there's a setting where I can base it off the wheel speed of the roller. And then basically I calibrate it and tell it what the gearing is at that point, and I can manipulate it. Do I do it? Absolutely not. There's no reason to. I don't care. I'm not trying to set records. I'm just trying to be honest and share data. I do know there's other shops that don't feel the same way. It's sad. It's part of it. You're going to have the good, the bad, and
The ugly. Only we have an answering machine.
yeah, if only there was a message when you call that says, we'll get back to you only if you leave a voicemail.
Yeah.
I think you'd leave a voicemail.
If you call 6 times and don't leave a voicemail, you're not getting called back.
That's solicitation. So guess
Yeah.
what? We don't really. Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
so hub dyno, great tool for big horsepower cars. Gives you, you're going to get a consistent pull every time. Most of them are loaded, so you can really simulate good real life conditions and not worry about wheel spin, right? But like I said, you got to really take the dyno number with them. That's it about
Every
that.
time they call, it screws up the video feed.
I'm sure it does.
Yeah, it's just...
If only, you know what? Well, maybe next time put in airplane mode.
It still has Wi-Fi calling, so it will still come
Or
through.
turn off Wi-Fi.
Then how do I go live on it?
What do you mean the Wi-Fi? What do you mean Wi-Fi calling is just calling? You
Oh,
don't
yeah, I
say
guess I could
Wi-Fi.
turn off Wi-Fi.
Anyway.
No!
So yes, that's the difference between hub dynos
Yeah.
and that's also the difference between different brands. Like I said, Mustang, Dynocom, and DynoJet are probably the 3 most popular. And DynoJet's the only one that doesn't physically let you go in and manipulate the actual correction factor. You can go in and manipulate the calibration for wheel, but it's not the actual correction factor. So keep that in mind.
A little fart out there.
Who farted? Was that you?
Yeah, that's what I said.
So bad.
Whoops!
Yeah, draggy slips and never show actual races. Oh boy, we're not going to get into what's going on in that group.
Man, let's get into what's... No.
No. So, I do know a couple people did ask some questions.
Yeah.
that didn't-
Somebody needs to call the internet company.
No, it's somebody's calling the phone.
Yeah. No, it's they call it 6 times in a row because we didn't pick up the first time, and apparently we're not a business that might be doing other things in the day, and there's someone that their only job is to answer that guy's phone number. So please, 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 please leave a voicemail. Sometimes
We
I'm
will
doing
call
stuff.
you back.
I'll call you back.
Right.
I'll call you back. I love you.
Yeah.
How reliable is our Hellcat with your level 3 kit, a level 3 setup?
So, level 3, for those that don't know, on the Hellcat is a porta blower with a 274 upper, 10% lower. That turbo car we showed earlier actually was running that one for a couple of years.
Why do people think I'm like 10 years old?
I don't know. They're not far off.
My grandma had dial-up. That's how I had to play Boomstick.
Anyways, so level 3, porta blower, 108 throttle body, 274 upper, 10% lower. On the red eyes, we do a 286 upper, but overall same setup. All fuel system mods supplied. So how reliable? What I tell people is once you hit that 900 wheel horsepower number, every horsepower you go up, the reliability goes down. Okay. And the analogy I use time and time again.
I'm just going through them.
Oh,
yeah.
The analogy I use time and time again is every vehicle is like a candle. And when you buy it stock, it has 1 wick, okay? And every modification you do adds another wick to it, okay? So the more horsepower, the more wicks, okay? Now, if you had a dozen candles and you still put the same amount of wicks on them, they're going to burn at a different rate. It's the same thing with cars. There is no telling when it's going to fail. It will fail. It's just... you don't know how long. So generally our level 3 package nets 960 to 980 wheel on an otherwise stock Hellcat powered vehicle. The Trackhawks, the Durango Hellcats, about 20 horsepower under that, and the TRX is another 20 or so under that. So it is a more of a gamble situation. Now, from a daily driving standpoint, what you have to understand is I've had a level two with a 200 shot of nitrous, and a level 3 with all of it all the time in twin turbo cars go for years at the track. But they literally go to the track, they race, and then go do an oil change and do things like that. I will be honest with you, when it comes to a blower car and modifying it, the way to degrade reliability even more is to daily drive it. Sorry, Brandon, I know. And the reason why, especially on a supercharger application, a lot of people forget about is that supercharger is spinning. So you just increased your rotor speed, not only at 6,000 RPM, but you did it at idle. You did it at 2,000 RPM. You did it at 3,000 RPM. So, same type of thing. Like, let's say every supercharger has 10,000 or we'll say, 100,000 rotations in its life. Okay. So if you quadruple the speed at which it rotates at 2,000 RPM, you're just reducing it, right?
We're not saying that I actually do have 100,000.
No,
it's just for this scenario.
Right. It's just to give kind of an easy way to kind of think about it. They rate light bulbs to a certain amount of hours. They, what I mean? They rate heaters to a certain amount of hours, or tires to a certain amount of miles. It's kind of the same thing as, that you understand that these things don't live forever. Bearings don't live forever. They do wear slowly over time. So you're naturally on, what happened?
Oh, we just lost sound for 30 seconds.
That was weird.
Yeah. Not saying they'll go 100,000. It's just for the scenario, but...
Okay. Anyway,
getting back to
it's just one of those things to consider you're spinning it faster all the time. So this is why, like on a turbo setup like that, it's a little more beneficial. That's why on my TRX, my last one, I did a gutted blower setup, because if I want to make 24 pounds of boost, I'm not necessarily spinning another component that could potentially fail or create heat and so on and so forth, right? So how reliable is it? We have people all the time. As you see, that orange car went years with it. His dad's car, same thing. Made same 960, 970 to the wheel. And I mean, dozens and dozens of track events. Countless track passes.
But also proper maintenance.
Maintenance is huge.
Yes.
But again...
And they also weren't daily driven cars.
Right. They don't drive them on a daily basis. We'll pause for a second.
Unreal. How dare people call business during no business hours?
No, I keep calling. That's fine. Keep them busy. That's...
Told the guy the drag strip I had a gutted airbox.
I mean, in theory, you do. So, that's my theory on it. It depends on what you're doing with it. I think it's a great setup. A level 3 is really, really good for a car that's going to be raced. I mean, it's optimum efficiency. It maximizes the components that are there, and it's going to net obviously your best results, right? But I've had guys do it, but it's one of those, I have the talks with it. It's, if you're going to be driving on the street, we can slow the blower down and preserve it a little bit. You know what I'm saying? It's just kind of one of those things. It all depends on how you're going to use it. But on our Durango Hellcat, when we set the record, we made 880 to the wheels, and then we used nitrous for the extra oomph we wanted, because we didn't race it every weekend. So driving around, I'm not spinning the blower to high heaven. I'm not trying to pump as much air into it that makes 1,000 wheel all the time. 880 was solid. It was a mid 10-second truck, and then we sprayed nitrous to get in the 9s. So that's when nitrous is nice for those that visit the track once or twice a year and you want that extra kick. But
I like what Jeff is saying. So basically, Big Q built motors and turbos in all the Mopars and buy a cheap Honda for a daily. Smart man.
I mean, I think it was 2 weeks ago we had the question, like, can you have a daily driven 1,500 horsepower car?
Oh yeah. And
the answer is yes. You can daily drive a 1,500 horsepower car. It doesn't mean it's going to live forever. And
this ain't no Camry.
Yeah, it does depend on the setup. Like, am I a big fan of having a 3.8 Whipple that makes 1,400 wheel and daily driving it? No, that's a lot of stress in the moments you're not abusing it that are going to shorten the life, right? So.
Oh, let's follow that up. What about a turbo type Seterino? Like, let's say someone was happening to build something to, I don't know, hit 1,200 or something, and you want to bump the power down to like 600-700 for the daily.
Right.
That's
Well, that again, it's what you're doing in those circumstances. So perfect. The one that we had
Yes.
the dyno, if you missed it, it made 1273 to the wheels.
Wow,
but that's with
funny.
the boost all the way up. So wastegate setting is basically stock boost level of a Hellcat. So they designed those cars to last 100,000+ miles with 11, 12 pounds of boost. So yeah, on a turbo setup that without a blower, you can have that flexibility in it, and that's going to be your most reliable way to say you have a 1,500 horsepower car that you daily drive, because it's, you know what I mean, you're not stressing it all the time. So just something to consider. But you compare like a twin turbo setup like that makes 1270 to the wheels versus a Whipple 3.8 making 1270 to the wheels. Look at what's happening as you're going 80 miles an hour down the road, right? That blower is screaming, it's heavy, it's going to lug down on the motor, fuel economy is going to take a hit. Where turbos are just basically a muffler, so you can actually talk nicer in the car and
It's
not have to
low-key
scream,
nice.
you know what I mean? So it's one of those that another big perk of the turbos. They don't put extra strain on anything in those given non-abuse conditions where a blower always does. I mean, you can't get around it. It's
I mean,
picked up.
as soon as I threw the blower on my Magnum, you can literally just audibly hear the idle get louder because there's more load even just sitting. Think about it.
Yeah, need a little more timing sometimes.
Yep.
Usually bump the idle up so it doesn't draw down as much. So it's there. And the faster you spin it, the more parasitic drain there is.
Yep. And more heat, naturally, but
heat kills things.
yeah,
so
all that.
Domino.
Yep.
One
Jeff
more.
is just kind of gloating that he knows a car that makes 1450 and gets 17 miles a gallon on the highway. That's kind of
We should make that
steezy.
better. We should make
Yeah,
that
we
better.
should. Fuel economy tunes.
I've done that.
You've done it.
I've done it.
If you guys have a TRX, let us know.
Yeah.
Put a lot of work into that one.
I did. I put a lot of work in the TRX.
What'd you end up getting on that?
It was, a 32% increase or 30% increase of fuel economy on the TRX. So, I mean, they only get, 15 miles to the
2.
gallon. So, it was an extra 3-4 gallons. But it adds up over time when you have a 33-gallon tank. But, I think Blake Mushin is rocking one of my fuel economy tunes on his right now. But we did it on legit street cars. So we did the one on his. So, yeah, I mean, it's there.
You can get it close.
Yeah, I mean, shoot, Joe's car when he was making 980 to the wheels when we went to Detroit, Michigan for roadkill nights, he got 24 miles.
And that's
to
a
the gallon.
blower.
That was a blower car.
Yeah.
Mind you, it was a little 6.2 cubic inches as a 426, but
Right.
we should be able to get there. I don't see why not.
I gotta do some work on my highway driving because I'm getting 20. It's not good. The Magnum literally gets better than the 300.
I didn't tune the 300.
He didn't. He tuned the Magnum S really well. I tuned the 300 and
Well, what'd you run in the 300?
13.8, baby. It's literally stock with a 306 in the tune. Very fucking happy.
Last one. Piggyback off last week. Does removing your hood
Oh!
help with the quarter mile for an NA car?
Yes,
Is it
for an
beneficial
NA car.
to remove your hood? I'll let Tulo take this one.
From the hit, it felt a little spicier. I kind of, and I was like, yeah, she's ripping. Up top, it fell off because of the aerodynamics. Is it because I had my my beautiful leg maker intake pointing straight up and probably had a bunch of turbulence? Maybe. Is it because I have a huge firewall and a bunch of shit in my engine bay that's just grabbing the air and creating a whole bunch of drag? Maybe. Was it worth the time and the possible damage to my hood to do it? No, it's an NA car. You know what I mean? Okay, if it's a Hellcat, you want to show off. I have a swapped car, and I have.
So focus.
Yeah.
So what were the results?
No, the exact same. Not actually. It was 1/100th of a difference, and that literally could have been
Just the weather.
anything. It could have been I had a slight breeze behind me.
Right.
It's so small.
Yeah.
Not worth it. Leave your hood on. Stop being childish and immature.
Yeah. So we tested it. It was on our
Yep.
live last week. We're like, hey, why not give it a shot? So he took his hood off and he tried it, and it didn't do anything.
We thought about it. We wanted to know. It's 4 bolts. Everyone's here. Why not?
Yeah.
And nothing happened. But hey, hypothesis, test it, conclusion. Scientific method, baby. We doing science. Science. I think that's about it for today.
I think that's it. Yeah. So that was a good one, guys.
I'm sweaty.
Yeah, it's hot. We need to turn the. I'm sitting in front of a fan. We turn off when this is on,
So you guys can hear us because
Yeah,
we
so-
care about the user experience.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
yeah, so that's about it this week. Keep questions coming if you're chiming in later. If you missed the dyno poll, you can rewatch the video from the beginning. 1,273 wheel horsepower out of the stock Hellcat.
motor.
So
Trans.
check it out. We'll post it obviously next week with the results.
Is he even build driveline?
Yeah, he has a drive shaft
Okay.
and axles and everything
Close
like that.
enough.
So yeah, so that's it, guys. Everybody have a wonderful weekend. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there, and we'll see you guys next week.